So it's 6:33 p.m. We'll call the we'll call the meeting to order. The first order of business is to review and make any changes to the agenda. Are there any changes to the agenda to be made?
Yes. I want to show you all the website because it's ready.
Okay, so we'll add that under old business.
Thanks.
Did you have something to Mark?
No.
Okay.
I do have something to add to this. Well, this was given to me by Ken Boards. We just want to attach.
The minutes? Okay, we can do that during the minutes.
Yeah.
I had two items to add. One is uniforms under roads and bridges.
Yeah.
And then just an update on a grant request that we're hoping to make regarding the wastewater project under old business. Any other additions or deletions? Okay. So before we do the minutes, I want to just say this for the record, and I think everybody here is aware of it, but Kate Cummings passed away over the weekend.
Okay.
Kate was one of the listers. She'd been with us for 2-3 years now. So she was always in here Thursdays and Fridays, always super big smile, light up the room. So we have a card here for folks to sign if you want to, for her husband and her kids. And then I did this afternoon drop the flag on the village green to half-mast. I don't know if we have a precedent for this or not, but Kate was a sitting town official, and so given that, I thought it was appropriate. So if anybody asks, that's the reason, that's the rationale for why that. So anyway, pretty sad. So if folks want to sign the card, they can do so here tonight. So next up is the approval of the minutes of the December 5th board meeting. Is there a motion to approve the minutes as written?
I'll make that motion.
Or I should say, not as written, because you want to amend them.
I want to amend it.
So Mark is the motion to adopt as amended to reflect. Actually,
This is what it is.
it wouldn't be amending the minutes. It
No.
would be entering. So yeah.
Entering evidence.
So let's move to adopt as amended, and then you can read that into the record. All right. So is there a motion to adopt as amended?
I'll make that
I mean,
motion.
as written. I'm sorry, Brad.
I'll
so
make that
then-
motion.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
Great. Is there any
Sorry,
further
I was
discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? One
Aye.
abstention from Suzanne. So the minutes have been approved. And then Mark wanted to enter.
Can somebody else just read?
Yeah. Can read it.
To the Montgomery, Vermont Selectboard, this is dated December 9th, 2022. In regards to the minutes of the December 5th, 2022, and the letter from Ron Lowell read by Linda Lowell, my name was brought up in that letter. First of all, I wasn't even aware that Ron Lowell had applied for the part-time position. Second, prior to the meeting, Mark Roulette and I had never had a conversation regarding Ron Lowell. And furthermore, I haven't had a conversation with Ron Lowell or talked about him in over 20 years. Please make this letter part of the written record on this subject. Sincerely, Ken Forbes.
Great. So we will enter this into the meeting minutes for this evening and record it, as such.
Okay.
Moving on to Public Works, roads and bridges. First up here is personnel transitions.
Do we want to move that to the end? We have to go into executive session.
We can do that right now. We can just pause the recording and,
Oh, okay.
yeah. We can just pause it and go to mute and cut the video, and then
Okay.
we'll hop back on.
Okay,
So,
there's nobody
yeah.
else here.
Yeah, no one else is in the room.
Okay.
Okay, so regarding personnel transitions, of course, remember at the last meeting, subject to the context of the letter, the board discussed the part-time hire, and at that meeting made the decision to hire Kenny Miller. After, a week or so of working, with the crew, I think Kenny decided that, it wasn't for him. Mutual decision by the crew and Mark and Kenny, so, no hard feelings, it wasn't a termination, it wasn't any of that. But that leaves the vacancy now open again. And so we do have, a number of other applications. We've got Ron's, we've got Shane's, we've got other ones that we've had in the stack to go back to. So at this point, the duty of the board is to discuss and then make a hiring decision. Since this is subject to contracts, it is something that we can go into executive session for. So is there a motion to go into executive session?
Make the motion to go into executive session to discuss hiring and contracts for the town garage.
Yep, is there a second?
I'll second.
Great. All those in favor of going into executive session, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. We are going to enter into executive session at 5:40 p.m. Okay, so we're back and just needed a motion to exit executive session.
I'll make the motion to exit executive session.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye or raising your hand.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Great, we're out of executive session. Is there a motion to be made regarding the hire of the part-time position?
Yes, I will make a motion to hire Shane Lumbrin at a rate of $24 per hour, effective immediately, starting, this week, to do the 20-hour-week position, part-time position.
Great. Is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye or raising your hand.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Great, motion carried. Montgomery Bridge road project. So did folks read the email that I forwarded just for context of like what the hell's going on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I didn't really.
basically, Army Corps of Engineers is demanding that we work with them to get a date that has to be done by. The date that they gave us originally was the spring. That won't track now with the new funding we've got, because the new funding won't be set until like early summer, and we can't do any work against the funding until it's set. So we can't do the work early spring, which pushes us into summer, and we can't plant the plants Army Corps wants us to plant during the summer, because it's not a good time to plant stuff, so it's got to push it into the fall, which means the project's got to happen in a way where we can get the plants in during the fall planting window. And layered on top of this is that VTrans is also, as part of the conditions of this grant, saying we have to hire another engineering firm to oversee the work of the first engineering firm.
What?
Yeah, and so,
Oh my God. Yeah, I see
we-
that. Part.
yeah, I know.
And there's like a specific date that stuff has to be removed by, is that part of what I read too?
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
we're like not on track to meeting that
We
removal date because.
No, which is the spring,
Right.
which is what we were talking about. So, so we're trying to iron that out with Army Corps now. But what we do need to do is, in order to get the next step and get the secondary engineer on board so that they can oversee the work of our primary engineer, we need to go through the same process we've done for other contractor selections. The two tracks we can take for this are the wide open, cast a wide net track, where we put an RFP out and we take in all of the people we get, and then we wade through them all, and that takes forever. Or we can go the pre-qualified vendor route, which is what we've done for all the contractor selections we've done in the past 3 years, which is basically we look at a list of pre-qualified vendors that the state has, we look at their qualifications against the project we're doing, and we just pick one.
Yeah.
So in order to do the pre-qualified vendor selection, we need to put together a selection committee. And so what I proposed to Dean, who is the municipal grant manager working with us from regional planning, is that we would use the same pre-qualified vendor selection committee that we did last time, which was myself, Mark, the municipal grant manager, in this case Dean, and then Aaron, because Aaron's basically tracking all the expenditures. So if that works, I would just want a motion to establish the selection committee of myself, Mark, Dean, and Aaron.
Can I ask a question first?
Yeah.
Out of that pre-qualified vendor list that the state provides, all of those engineering firms would be acceptable to the Army Corps?
The Army Corps doesn't have a review against that selection because that's a state against federal.
That's a list for V-Trans, right?
It's V-Trans,
Okay.
yeah. So the Army Corps wouldn't review that. So the answer to your question is yes, except that we can't pick Dubois King, which is on the list of pre-qualified vendors.
Because they've already.
Because they're the ones that they're supposed to be overseeing with this other company.
I just want to throw this out there.
I'm
We
happy.
just budget $40,000 more and just fix each side and tell them thank you and have a good day.
At this point, I don't think we can.
I know, it's so
because
far into it.
It's
but
so far into it, and we've drawn money
I
off of
mean,
the TAP grant.
It wouldn't hurt to ask, but,
Well,
I mean-
then we'd have to repay all the money out of the TAP grant we've already expended.
oh, for the engineers.
Engineers, plus,
Wow.
yeah.
And it could have been done,
Yeah.
Years
I
ago.
mean,
Mm-hmm.
wow.
When it should have been done,
This
when it was
is
a very
just-
little problem,
Yes.
nothing
Wow.
gigantic
Now
thing
it's
that
over
it is now.
$500,000.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, that's the way it is.
Wow. Well, maybe I'll learn a lesson from this.
Do I understand this correctly? We need another engineering group to oversee the engineering group?
Yes, that is 100% correct, Larry. Per the state's requirements on this project, per the funding, there has to be there's a term they use, but it's basically an engineer that oversees the other engineering firm to make sure the other engineering firm is doing the job right.
It's not just merely a clerk of the works.
No, this is like a secondary engineering firm that basically is a check against the first engineering firm.
And how much extra is that gonna cost?
I don't have that number in front of me right now, but I want to say it came out to around 30 to 60,000, somewhere in there.
Wonderful.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thanks, Larry.
Um,
So, is there a motion to establish a selection committee of myself, Mark, Aaron, and Dean?
I'll make that motion.
Great, thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
Okay, is there any further discussion?
Ridiculous nature.
All right, hearing no other discussion other than grumbling.
Sorry.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye or raising your hand.
Aye.
Aye. You're
Any
welcome.
opposed? Any abstentions? Great, motion
Oh,
carries. The next item here, which was an added item, is uniforms. So, if folks remember, or I don't know if people were part of this conversation, but basically we have been doing uniforms through UniFirst. The road crew kind of said we don't like UniFirst's uniforms for any number of reasons. Materials, uniform, the process we use to do them and clean them or whatever. So Erin worked with the road crew to basically put together uniforms using other materials and screen printing. And she's gotten us a quote here. This is from Mountain View Printing. This is for vests, hoodies, zip Carhartt Rain Defender jackets, gray t-shirts, gray long sleeve t-shirts, and vests. The total of which, I'm actually kind of amazed at this, only comes to $484. Oh wait, I'm sorry.
Wow.
No, sorry.
Gotta be
You're
more.
looking at the wrong
I'm looking at the wrong column. She also added into this vests for the town office staff and hoodies for the select board. Hoodies for the.
Wear them to our meeting.
I jokingly said I want a hoodie, and she said I already budgeted for it. So the total budget
What is it
amount,
about hoodies?
the total budget amount for,
It's an extra perk that goes with the large thank you that we get at town.
yeah. So the total budget is $2,330 for all the uniforms, which
So-
Aaron told me is less than we were paying UniFirst.
So then,
For what time
Yeah.
period?
The annual UniFirst cost, was what she told me.
Is
Yeah,
this, can I,
Yeah.
is it one?
It's one order, so those would be,
Yeah.
and then the staff would be responsible for like washing and
yeah,
cleaning their
staff would be
stuff.
responsible for washing and cleaning. We wouldn't send them out.
I mean, since this is over $1,000, shouldn't you get more than one quote? from different- I mean-
I feel like Aaron would have caught that.
I mean,
Hang on.
you're just going with one company, you know.
I think
I know it's less than what we paid UniFirst, but I mean, there's other companies that make hoodies and sweatshirts.
Give me 1 second.
Oh, okay, that's what I'm looking at. So they would each get they'd get 3 long sleeve t-shirts and they'd get 5 gray okay, that makes sense to me. It was like, you can't just give them one t-shirt and one long.
Yeah,
Okay.
so
I mean, I
minor,
know-
So that makes sense.
I mean, I know this
Yeah.
is less
So,
than UniFirst.
per the purchasing policy, minor purchases, $1,001 to $5,000 are prior approval of the select board, and then although not required, competitive quotes from at least 2 vendors should be obtained wherever possible. So, not required. I'm guessing Aaron did that just because Aaron tends to be that detail oriented. I mean, I can ask her if folks want.
I know I get in trouble for not doing it.
Well, it is not required.
Okay, I'll remember this. Okay, no, I'm fine,
I mean, we can
I
run
mean,
a
it's
second quote.
less than what we're paying UniFirst, so.
Yeah.
um,
And
Yeah.
per that is in the budget. That's the other part of that is it's a budgeted amount. We're
I
just
just wanna go on
paying
record,
attention.
say.
Yeah, point taken.
Yes.
Anyone else want to see the quote?
You read it?
Yeah.
What does your favorite visitor get?
That's true. There should be a hat.
How about a beer cozy?
How about one of those beer hats, Larry? Would you wear it during the meeting?
Says Town of Montgomery on it.
We should have merch.
Actually, yeah.
You have
That's a
swag.
different
If you show
discussion.
up for like 5 meetings, you get.
I was thinking of sash.
All right.
Yeah.
A punch card for how many meetings you show up for.
So is there a motion to approve the quote from Aaron?
I'll make a motion to approve the quote from Aaron
Is there a second?
for new uniforms.
I'll second the motion.
Is there any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye or raise your hand. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Great, motion carries. Buildings and grounds, 98 Main Street location. So, I copied the board on the email to Sanders' office, and my point there was twofold. One was to get Sanders' office to help us, but also an attempt to see if email lands in their inbox copied to Sanders' office, if that would spur any action on the part of the post office. And lo and behold, within 6 hours of sending that email, they had responded and said, we really want to do this and move forward with it. We have every intention of moving back. Can you email us a blueprint of the building so we can figure out space requirements and how we can move through this? So I sent them a blueprint that I had actually drawn out 3 or 4 years ago of the building when all this started. I haven't heard back from them yet. I did hear back from Sanders' office, just from Haley saying, we're here to help, let us know what we can do. I told her at this point, we'll get back to you, but they have re-engaged with us, so we'll see. I mean, last time they did this, they re-engaged with us and then disappeared for 2 months.
Yeah.
But positive steps forward.
Yeah.
So we will continue to update everybody on the Odyssey, which is the U.S. Postal Service. I'll also note, just for context, that a reporter from Digger reached out to me last week regarding this, and there's a good chance that you'll see an article in Digger about it this week.
You drop a lot of F-bombs.
No, I kept the F-bombs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
No F-bombs. Water Commission update. This is just carrying over the Reagan Road Power Project. They haven't been back up yet, but I expect them to be here this week. They're usually here for Christmas. Checked with Derek again
Okay.
today, who manages their property
Yeah.
for them. And he said they aren't up here. He plowed their driveway, hasn't seen them. So as soon as they're back in town, we'll
Okay.
connect with this time.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's the update there. Anything else under Public Works, Mark?
No, we kind of figured out what's going on with truck number one. Well, truck number one had to actually go back to Regions on a record because it quit, went into limp mode, and it was one of the sensors they replaced this spring was bad. So that was all under warranty, but we just had to pay for the towing. So the sensor was under warranty.
Okay.
And then the antifreeze leak is this inner seal on the engine. So the engine's gonna have to be totally, the whole front of the engine's gotta come off. So I think we're gonna look at maybe Valancourt's doing it because it'll be a lot less money than Legion's doing it. And it's gonna be laid up for a little while, so we're trying to keep ahead on the forecast and just keep our fingers crossed that
Okay.
it holds together. I'll try to get a quote, for what it's gonna be.
Okay.
So that's the bad news on that front. Besides that, we got through our first big storm.
Yep.
And the new truck's working well.
Good.
So, and Dave's working out well.
Good.
He caught on real good. Yeah, so it's going good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So regarding the trucks, the last meeting, I think we made like kind of an offhand joke comment that we should have the school kids name the trucks. So I actually had a number of people who like either read the minutes or watched the recording and reach out to me and say like, "What's an awesome idea? Let's do it."
What was it?
So we made a joke about having the school kids name.
Mark
the
has a
truck.
special name for truck number
That's
one.
a new thing, you know.
Yeah.
Have
Well,
you seen
because
that?
we
Yeah,
always
for
yeah.
the state,
Yeah.
region, yeah.
Yeah, so we always called them truck 1 and truck 2, and the thought
truck
was
3,
like, why
yeah.
don't we have the kids name them so we can actually call them something other than 1 and 2? The folks want to do that? Like,
Yes.
should we set this up with Sandy and figure out a way?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll talk to Sandy.
Why
Okay.
not?
You can't name truck number one, Mark.
I can't.
We know.
I held my F-bombs. You gotta.
We might not want to name it because we're going to replace it in a few years. Yes.
Okay.
We can name it anyways.
All right. Well, let's talk to Sandy about it and see what we can do.
I'll talk to Sandy.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So with that, we're on to visitors. Larry, you got anything for visitors?
I didn't catch the name of the part-time hire. Was it Shane Lumbra?
Yes.
Thank you. That's all I had.
Okay, thanks, Larry. Moving on to old business, draft short-term rental ordinance. So if folks remember, Planning Commission brought this to us, we had talked about it, and then we had talked about scheduling a hearing and a vote by the board on this in a timeline that would track so that if there was a petition to put it to a vote, we could do the vote on town meeting and then schedule a special election. So I think the timeline that we're looking at then would be to schedule the hearing for our first meeting in January, which would be,
Second.
yeah, the second.
Are we meeting that day?
It's the first Monday of the month.
It is. That is
Wait.
that's New Year's holiday.
On the second?
Yep, because the first is a
Yeah.
Monday, so
So the holidays.
the holiday is Monday. It doesn't matter to me, I'm just asking
We almost had school that day.
because, what's that?
We almost had school that day, but
Right,
then
we
they
were
realized that.
supposed to have school that day and then they realized, and they changed the school calendar.
Oh,
Yeah,
well, do you guys want to kick the meeting to the Tuesday?
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't matter, I'm just
Yeah.
bringing it up as a point of clarification.
Well, what's the pleasure? What do folks wanna do?
I don't care.
I'd prefer to stick with Mondays.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to Burlington on Tuesday.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
If nobody's
That's
opposed to that.
Alright,
I'm good.
alright, then we will, schedule that for,
But you don't have school, you don't have school.
Just-
on
yeah.
Right. Get to
So
do all the
then we
laundry and
will-
housework that we didn't do all vacation.
Monday.
So we'll schedule that hearing for,
Can we talk about the January schedule, because looking, the third Monday would be Martin Luther King Day, so are we meeting that while we're on this point?
We all kind of see.
yeah, what's the pleasure? What do folks wanna do?
Yeah. Not
We
really.
kick that to a Tuesday, we can move it, keep it on Monday.
I think keep it on Monday, keep it there.
I'm fine.
Okay,
Yeah.
what are you thinking?
It doesn't matter, I'm
Bring it-
just so
bring
that
it up.
it's available so people know when we're
Yeah.
meeting.
Okay, okay, then we'll keep our regular meeting schedule.
For January.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and so we'll do the hearing on the second. The hearing is a chance to, we'll publicize it and make sure there's a draft on the website and get the word out. The hearing is an opportunity for anybody interested to come and comment, question, say their piece. And then what we can do is either make a motion or do something, move an official action on the ordinance that night, or if we get enough feedback that the board feels we need to kind of sit on it or amend some stuff and bring it back or whatever, we can do that, and then the 16th, we could move the official action. So that's the plan.
This will be posted in the papers, in a paper.
Yeah, we'll get,
Or it has to be, yeah.
well,
I thought it did.
yeah, we have to go back and look at
Timeline,
the warning requirements for ordinance adoption, but I believe you're right.
yeah,
Um,
pretty sure.
fuck. As I say this, now I'm wondering, I can't remember what the timeline is
Yeah.
for posting requirements and whether we now have enough time to post it and act on it that night. If not, we can still act on it. I'll check the timeline requirements and we'll get it warned, and then we'll just do it whenever we can make the action based on the warning. Yeah.
January is also one of those months that has 5 Mondays in it this year, so if we need to shift the schedule,
We could do that.
you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
we could meet on the 9th and the 23rd instead, I mean, I don't know.
Good. The 16th is when I think we need to make an action on it, just because to give it time for a petition to then come back and then go to the vote. But let's plan on keeping January the way it is. If need be, we might push the second meeting off of Martin Luther King Day. Because as I'm looking at this and thinking about whether it's a 30-day posting requirement or not, we're already past that.
Yes.
Maybe well past that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, today's the 19th. Damn, I've forgotten about the posting requirements for an ordinance.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure of the days.
Yeah, I'll look at it, but for now, just be aware that we are gonna hold that hearing on January 2nd. That's a sure thing.
Yeah.
So we'll get that publicized, we'll get everything out there, and we will go ahead with it. All right, town meeting 2023 planning. This is just a placeholder that's gonna be here at the town meeting. There's nothing else tonight to talk about under this, other than the ordinance discussion as it relates to that adoption and then a vote at town meeting.
And we're gonna start having our budget
Yeah.
meetings and budget
The
together.
tasking letter went out
Yeah,
to everybody, so after the holiday, we'll circle back with the budget committee and probably start meeting January.
mm,
But we do have the timeline down for everything. I mean, the main thing for us is February 24th is when the warning has to get posted.
Yeah.
So that's kind of our,
You know when the deadline is for the fiscal requests from nonprofits?
we don't actually ever put out a formal deadline for those requests. We usually just take them as they come and consider them as we're able, and if they come in after the budget's been fixed,
Okay.
sorry.
Yeah.
So I'd say as soon as you can.
Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, we don't put out anything to the world that says get them in by now. It's more just we take them as we get them and we address them as the budget committee meets and passes the budget. Added item here. This is just I don't know if I don't know if we formally need to do this or not, but I do want to make the board aware. So I am looking to apply to the Community Recovery and Revitalization Program, which is through the Agency of Commerce and Community Development through the state of Vermont. This is a grant which is open to a whole slew of applicants or applicant pools, but municipalities are one of them. And one of the things that municipalities can apply for is for funding to assist with water and wastewater projects. The funds are up to $1 million towards the project, and in reading this, we check all the boxes here to basically meet the requirements for the wastewater portion. I mean, everything we're doing is like to the letter of what they're looking for. So I figured, I don't know, been squeezing money out of everybody, let's squeeze some more money out of them. So if it's okay with the board, the grant applications due 12/30, so December 30th. Actually, I'm sorry, December 30th is when the applicant window opens for us. So I would target to have the application submitted then, and they are reviewed and scored on a rolling basis. So I don't know how long it would be before we find out, but that's when we find out. So this should be another $1 million or whatever amount of money they give us to then put back into the project as we continue to kind of pick away at that final number. We still are waiting for concurrence from the agency on a couple other numbers. So we're funneling together now towards what we're hoping is going to be a final figure there.
Mm.
So if it's okay with everybody, if I submit that grant proposal, is there a motion to move to approve the grant submittal?
I'll make that motion to
Thanks.
approve the grant submittal.
Is there a second?
Second.
Great. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Great, motion carries. And again, I don't know if we need that or not, but if you remember, like for the Northern Borders Regional Commission, we had to go back and remove to approve the submission, so just ahead of time, we're looking to do that. Great, and that brings us to the website.
It's
Do you wanna?
the easiest way.
Do you want to share it on the screen?
Yeah.
Do you want to just log into the Zoom and then you can share your screen? Or do you want me to do it and you can?
Yeah, because when you have players,
Either that or I can just
Let's see.
allow screen share. I forget how that works.
I'm not doing it. Emily Kimball, looks like trouble.
Recording in progress.
Aye. check your
Okay.
speakers.
Got it.
All right. I'm gonna make.
Sorry.
Okay. Hey Larry, can you hear us still? You can still, okay, it looks like you can. All right, great. And you can hear us and the recording is capturing it, so we don't need to have the speakers for this part of this. Not sure what's going on. All right, Emily, I'm gonna make you host.
That sounds dangerous.
So, Emily,
I bet if Emily muted her Zoom.
oh, the
might,
mic.
might-
Computers. So, okay.
All right, Dash is muted.
I'm now
Oh.
muted, yeah.
All right.
I wasn't before.
All right, that was probably it.
Sorry, I muted my computer, not my Zoom. Okay. Am I host now?
You are host, so you can screen share.
Screen share. Okay. So, Larry, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Perfect. So, this is our,
You got screen share.
I did.
Try again. Go to the Zoom.
Zoom.
Is it because your video's not on
No, it should work.
So,
It looks like you got to the window, but you didn't actually double click it.
Hit it with a hammer.
Oh, there you go, on the bottom,
Oh,
on the bottom side.
more. Screen share.
Yeah, and now screen, and then, actually, wait. Is that your window? Is that what's open on your, so that's your browser right there.
Okay, that's what I want to share.
So there you go. I think the Zoom
This.
window was popped up. Yeah.
Share.
Yep, perfect.
there?
Okay.
There it is.
I'm screen sharing. This seems dangerous. So, we have the redesigned website that Zach and Liz and I have been working on for what seems like forever now. What you're going to notice as we walk through this super quickly, I'm not going to show you every single nook and cranny of it, is that the idea is that it's fairly basic, that it's super accessible. You're going to notice there's not a ton of color, and that's very purposeful. This meets all of the compliance for things to be accessible to people that have visual impairments. And there's also a ton of features in here that Zach has loaded in on his end so that people can access this if they are visually impaired as well. So we have a lot of easy tabs right here at the top. Our home page, things that are currently happening will be listed here. Our government has been redesigned and things have been put in what we think is the easiest, most accessible format. So for example, if you click on Selectboard, it's going to bring you can visit the municipal directory, which bounces you right to where you can contact all of us. It then also links you very quickly and easily to the agendas and the minutes. And it gives you any resources that you might need. So all of the recordings, town reports, Vermont League of Cities and Towns. Some other features are that you can go ahead and pay your bills online with like one click, very easy, brings you right to the payment portal or the point of sale, whatever you want to call it. And we have linked in there all of the state resources that people might need, as well as our community resources that are like our municipal resources. So things that you will not find in there are like nonprofits and things like that that we had talked about as a board a while ago. So those things had, there was confusion about what was a board and what was a committee and what was a nonprofit, and so In order to simplify, we've done that. Here, there are all of the forms that I think you might possibly need, and clicking on them brings you right to the form. So this contact is also really nice. Heard a lot of complaints from people that they don't know when the town offices are open, so that is front and center. We have opportunity for people to connect with us through social media. We have opportunity for people to sign up for various email updates that they might want of happenings in town. They're hidden here, so they can just click what it is that they're interested in and go ahead and sign up for those so that they can stay informed. We've tried to make everything like you can click forward, you can click back, but it doesn't kick you out to other windows or pop up other things. When we're looking at minutes and agendas, you don't have to download things to your computer now in order to be able to preview them.
Yeah.
All of those suggestions have been taken care of. We also have right here on our home screen, if people, I closed it. There's a button that Zach has added, and it's not on mine because I closed it earlier, but if people are seeing things that are up here in error, that they can, it's one button, it's one click, they can email. I will receive those emails and filter those things through so that as we work through this process of launching this, if there are errors, it can very easily be taken care of. Not everything that will be on the website is here because it's running on Zach's server.
Okay.
So like if you click on minutes and agendas, I'll just show you super quickly and then I'll answer any questions. If you click on agendas, you can pick whose agenda you want to see. So say we want to see a select board agenda. There's a few of them up there right now. They're not all up there. And you can either download it or you can preview it.
Okay.
Okay?
So just to be clear, like,
Oops,
so
sorry.
it sounds like things aren't completely loaded, so like under government, is there gonna be an added page for the planning commission, for the rec department, for, like, are those just not live yet?
So the things that you're not, right, so this is a skeleton that's running
Yeah.
because it's running on Zach's server.
Okay, but like, eventually, there's gonna be more in a government than select board, public works, and cemeteries.
So things are, these are our town offices, and then under our government, you would go to, oops. So if it falls under, I don't know if I'm answering your question correctly.
So like right now, we've got a page for the planning commission, for example.
Yep.
So.
Yes, those things are not lost.
So like, if you click government, eventually it'll show planning commission, all the kind of same, okay.
If you click on the underscored title government there, or town offices or documents, does it bring you to a page? It does.
Yep.
Alright.
Which again, eventually.
Excuse me.
Sorry, Larry. Yep.
Yeah, I didn't, you're going kind of fast on it, but I didn't see anything about the Office of Delinquent Tax Collector. Is that an omission on purpose, or is that just something I'm not seeing?
No, so what I
They
was,
bring a lot, I understand that individual brings a lot of money back into the town.
I heard that too. So right here, this is sort of an example of what it's going to be. The rest of them, so like the budget committee and things like that will be under here, under the government section. This is just currently running on Zach's server. And so not everything is uploaded because it's way too much.
Thank you. Well done.
Thanks. Hopefully, Larry.
Yes.
So my only other question
Yeah.
is less around the platform that we're looking at now and more about how it gets updated or amended.
Yep. So that's been a conversation that I've had with Zach as well, and it's a conversation that he actually initiated. And so what our thought process is, he will come in as soon as we're ready to sort of go with this, and he will, ultimately, he's going to train Liz, Erin, and Genevieve sort of on the back end workings of how to update this. So instead of saying, hey, Zach, can you post the agenda for the select board, whatever, like that will become in-house,
Okay.
and that will be managed that way. He will like stay on board to manage like,
Yeah.
hey, we broke the website.
Systems things.
Yeah,
not
the big stuff.
Yep.
But the sort of like the daily routine updating and things like that. And I mean, that ultimately was the ideal in becoming more efficient and getting things up and available like in real time for people so that this actually is a hub of information and it's not outdated.
Yep. That's great.
We can also at that point in time talk to Zach about the fee structure. If he's sort of just managing, like, if we break it, he'll fix it. He's not looking to sort of be collecting that same fee structure. And so I think as we're adding more responsibility for other people, we need to see how we can maybe like stipend out that work.
Sure.
Have you had a
A
chance
conversation.
to look at this version on your phone?
Yep, and it looks
Cool.
decent.
Alright.
I looked at it on my phone, I looked at it on my iPad. It translates and it's a much better translation than the previous website, which didn't translate at all.
Mhm.
So on the icons up above, I see Facebook, YouTube. No, keep going left. The one next to Facebook, is that?
No.
Oh, Front Porch Forum. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, is that? I thought it was Twitter at first.
Like,
Yeah, it looks like birds on a.
oh, it's birds on a wire.
Birds
Birds on a wire.
Which made me think.
Yep.
Made me think Twitter. And I was like, we have Twitter.
Nope.
So can you translate this to Spanish? Is that function live?
It doesn't look like that's live, but oh, yep, you can. How would you like
Go
it,
to French.
Charlie?
Say we have a Quebec person that wants to.
There you go.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, bureau municipal.
I do not know
Oh wow.
if all of like the forms. Well, this is a construction and zoning permit.
No, the form is probably.
The form itself does not translate,
But the page
but
will.
the page
Yeah.
will.
That's cool.
Wow.
Sweet.
Now let's make sure it never translates to French.
Right. Complaints. Who has complaints?
About this or anything in particular?
No, just about this.
I look great.
Yeah.
I think it looks great.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay,
When can I go live?
so I'm gonna talk to Zach. I will give him that feedback. I am going to let him know that we're ready,
Ready to rock and roll.
ready to rock and roll. I was thinking that launching it over the next, like week-ish or so, hopefully people will be very busy with other things, and so if there are problems to work out, they're not going to be like super focused on the town website not working. They might have some other things going on with the holidays, and
Cool.
we'll have a chance to fix it.
Nice. Awesome. Thanks for your work on this.
Yeah.
This is a big step.
Sure.
Great job.
Stop. Okay.
Cool.
Better order her a sash.
Yeah.
Thanks, Larry.
So that takes us.
Getting a hooded sweatshirt.
So that takes us through to new business, and we don't have any licenses or fleet permits to approve. So that brings us to the end of the meeting. So if there's no other business. A motion to adjourn would be in order.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, we'll vote. All those in favor of adjournment, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Great. Motion carries. Thanks,
Have a
Larry.
great holiday, everybody.
You too.
Thanks, Larry.
Since you're the host.